Hi everyone, it's Raina. So this video is for Mercury and Libra, and Mercury is the planet of communication as well as our intellectual prowess, if you will, that way that our mind works, what we think about, how we talk about what we're thinking about, and also how we absorb information, how we retain information, and all that jazz. Libra is a cardinal air sign, and so air signs are naturally coming from a perspective of the intellect. So there is going to be an affinity for this particular Mercury with Libra because of the nature of what Libra represents in terms of a life of the mind and of communication. Air signs are known for communication as well as their intellect. So the thing about Libra is, as a cardinal air sign, cardinal signs take charge of their lives. They are well known for, well, I don't know about well known, but they are signs that take action and they take control over their situation. So a Libra Mercury sign is very comfortable in the realm of communication. You won't see them sitting back and not offering their 2 cents about a particular situation or being kind of shy to chime in about something. However, the way that Libra responds is with a gracious demeanor. Libra is ruled by Venus. Libra rules the 7th house, which is the house of committed partnership. And so the sign of Libra is, whether it's in Mercury or if the sun is in Libra, or some of the other personal planets, is that Libra is all about balance. So when Libra is in a situation where there is some kind of feeling that something is not quite right, and usually we're talking about conflict, people are fighting, arguing, that makes somebody like a Mercury in Libra nervous because they are the natural peacemakers. And so they will try to see both sides. Or if there are like 5 people there, they'll see every person's point of view and try to keep everybody in harmony with one another. And so balanced communication is very important to them. They do not like conflict. They do not like coarse language. So it's not going to be very common to see somebody with a Mercury in Libra who is swearing up a storm. And if somebody else around them is speaking in a way that is very crude, chances are they're going to kind of recoil against that because the sign of Libra itself, and this could even be like Venus in Libra, the moon in Libra, or the sun in Libra, people who have a prominent Libra tend to prefer refined individuals in their life. They don't like people who are rough around the edges, who don't have social graces, who are very rude. But if there is somebody in their vicinity, or maybe, because of their job title, let's say a Mercury in Libra person is a cashier and somebody comes into the store and is just like really rude and demanding, the Mercury in Libra person will tend to try to soothe that person, to calm them down, and to understand where they're coming from. They are trying to create that balance when things become imbalanced. They're not going to go off on a tangent and start giving it back to them and, or anything like that. You know what I just thought, which is kind of funny? I was interested in learning about Cardi B's astrological information. And I know her sun is in Libra. I'm really curious if her Mercury is in Libra, because she has quite an interesting way of communicating, and she can be crude, but it's always funny. So the thing that I didn't say at the beginning is that Mercury can never be far from the sun. So if your Mercury sign is Libra, your sun sign must either be Libra too, or it can be Scorpio, or it can be Virgo. Now I want to say a few things about each of these sun signs. If your sun sign is in Scorpio and you have a Libra in Mercury, this may give you a more diplomatic way of speaking, because let me tell you, Scorpios, and especially if they have Mercury in Scorpio, they can cut people to shreds if they want to. Doesn't mean that they will all the time, but if they wanted to, they could, because they would know exactly where to wound somebody, and they would do so if they felt that they were threatened in some way, even just like emotionally. They could find that weak spot in the person that they're trying to cut down to size. If a Scorpio person has Mercury in Libra, they will have a less of a tendency to do so. And even if they try to start anything up, they will probably back down, because that desire for balance and harmony will kick in. That may not be the case 100% of the time, because Scorpio is a very strong sun sign, and based on other factors, that I'm just speaking with prior knowledge of that doesn't always occur, but it might occur. And if somebody has their sun sign in Virgo, having Mercury in Libra can make them more gregarious. Virgo tends to be rather dry and analytical. And I mean, I'm not saying boring, but not necessarily that kind of social butterfly that Mercury in Libra is, that may be much more witty in I think Virgo can be witty, but sometimes almost like with a sarcastic tone. And Mercury in Libra can be clever, okay? And Oscar Wilde was a sun in Libra. I don't know what his Mercury was in, but we quote him all the time, even now after so many years. So a Mercury in Libra person can be very intellectually clever and witty, and the life of the party. People can really enjoy their company because they're going to be intelligent, but they're also going to be kind-hearted or polite at the very least. By the way, just for fun, I paused this and I checked Cardi B's personal planets, and her Mercury is actually in Scorpio, which makes sense to me because she will say very sexual things, and just like very openly and innocently. And her moon sign is Aries. So her sun sign is Libra and her moon sign is Aries. And Aries can be quite a crude, kind of like rough around the edges. Aries. I was trying to see I thought her rising sign was actually Aries too. And she used to get in fights when she was younger. I know I'm not doing a Cardi B reading here, but I just wanted to mention how this can differ between people who have, even if you have the sun sign in Libra, it doesn't mean that you're automatically going to have that kind of graciousness in the sense that what Libra represents, because this is why somebody that has Mercury in Libra makes a great PR person, because they can really be a great face for a company, a corporation, an individual, if they are promoting like a certain artist or, like a singer or something, and they have to be the spokesperson, or even in government, if they are a politician's spokesperson. They have this ability to convey themselves in an intelligent way, but also in a gracious way. This is very important because you can be intelligent and not be very polished. I think that is really the best way of talking about Mercury and Libra, is that there is this sense of somebody who has real decorum when it comes to communication. Now, the thing about Libra as a sign, ruling that seventh house and being ruled by Venus, is that the seventh house being the house of committed partnerships and, relationships in general. Mercury and Libra people can have their mind on relationships at all times. And of course, that could lead to codependency and also, and even like being too influenced by another person. And even like in a non-romantic sense, if a Mercury and Libra person has a best friend, for instance, they may take on the mannerisms or really kind of try to imitate that person because of this focus on the other. And this is one of the things that I think is worth talking about with a prominent Libra as being sometimes problematic, because the person with the Libra doesn't necessarily have a sense of themselves. Now, of course, this is going to vary from person to person, but if that's the case, it can lead the Mercury and Libra person to identify too much in terms of their partner and not have their own way of thinking, of kind of living their life. So let's say a Mercury in Libra person gets into a serious relationship with somebody else. Okay, I'm going to use, since I'm a woman, let's say I have a girlfriend who has Mercury in Libra, and all of a sudden she starts talking in this way that I know is not necessarily how she feels, but she is so influenced by her new boyfriend that she starts talking and, kind of spouting or parroting what he is all about and not really having her own mind. And it's not that she's not intelligent and that she's not capable of coming up with her own ideas and attitudes. It's that she's very influenced by her partner. This can be good, though, in the sense when a Mercury and Libra person is absorbing information, they are interested in different points of view. They enjoy hearing about other people's experiences and attitudes, and this makes them good listeners. You know how it is when you talk to somebody and you can tell that they're not really listening, that they just are waiting till you take a breath so that they can start running their mouth again. That's how a lot of people are. So it's a nice gift to be able to have a conversation with somebody with Mercury and Libra, because you will get a word in edgewise, and they will genuinely be interested in your take on things. On the flip side, you might get somebody with Mercury and Libra who is constantly asking you about things that they are doing so that they get your opinion on their life. Do you like this outfit? Do you think I should decorate this room? And I mean, I remember, I don't know if this person has Mercury in Libra, but a Libra person asking me about something and asking my partner about something and then taking my partner's opinion because he liked it more. And that's kind of, then you're like, oh, why did I even bother answering this person? They didn't really care about that. They were just looking for somebody to agree with them. Because this is the other thing about Mercury and Libra, is that it's hard for them sometimes to make decisions. And actually, when I was compiling a list of things here, I didn't see anything in the source that I used. Codex Astrology, great site. I didn't see anything about this. They said that, Venus, the influence of Venus means that they take their time making decisions. And I assume this is because Venus is languid, which means, they like to just luxuriate and take their sweet time. A Venusian influence, whether it's Taurus or Libra, in doing anything. So this would include making decisions. Well, that coupled with the fact that Libra is very interested in fairness, so that means looking at various sides of an issue. That can mean that Libra takes, a very long time to make a decision, and it can be very hard for them to do so. And so, because of this, because it takes so long, it can be difficult for them to be sure that they're making the right decision. And, when somebody says to you, "Do you like my dress? Do you like my sweater?" I always think to myself, and I've gotten to the age where that's not happening very often. It's usually, when I was younger, but it doesn't matter what I think. Why does it matter? You're the one that bought that dress. You must like that style, or you must like that color. And this is the kind of thing that other people may be trying to convince Mercury and Libra of. Know your own mind. You have your own opinions if you will just kind of honor them. And so there could even be lurking in the back of Mercury and Libra's mind, maybe some kind of lack of faith in their own judgment. I don't know if if I'm just kind of editorializing here, but it definitely is something for people with this Mercury position to really look at, because that can create problems for themselves when they can't make decisions in a pretty timely way. Sometimes they can drag things out quite a bit. Now, the other thing that is like a mixed blessing, if you will, is that Mercury and Libra can see the good in other people. Okay, so I also didn't see anything about the legal profession, but I definitely feel that somebody with a personal planet in Libra may be attracted to the law precisely because it deals with seeing multiple sides of an issue. Even if everybody thinks somebody's guilty of a crime, that person, that Libra person can look at that individual and say, he or she deserves to be represented, and I'm going to be the one who is able to argue on his or her behalf, okay? And seeing the good in other people and treating people as if, even if they are exhibiting traits that you find abhorrent or that they find abhorrent, still giving them the benefit of the doubt because they are trying to be fair. They may even make excuses. Okay, this person, they had a rough childhood. That's why they are such a jackass right now, because they just had a very troubled childhood, blah, blah, blah. And that can be a good thing in the sense that everybody does have, worth, inherent worth. The problem is when a Mercury in Libra or Libra in general person prolongs a relationship that needs to be ended for whatever reason. I mean, especially if it's for a reason that the other person is very abusive, even just mentally abusive, that can be a terrible thing. And the Libra person is still making excuses for them. So again, that codependency that kicks in, but that also plays tricks with one's mind because they can convince themselves that this person really is a decent person. It's just that A, B, and C has happened to them. So that's why they're the way that they are. A Mercury in Libra person, just like Mercury in Taurus, will have a gracious speaking voice. Their voice will be very pleasant, maybe musical because of the connection with Venus. And again, unlike, I would say, Taurus, Mercury in Taurus, the Mercury in Libra person is also enhanced with the intellectual angle, where they tend to express themselves in very intelligent ways, in very maybe even sophisticated manner, in a sophisticated manner, and coupled with the pleasant way that they deliver their messages. And this can be really good for any kind of situation that needs, where there's a difficulty happening and they need somebody to talk about difficult things in a way that is very pleasant. So again, that may even connect with PR matters where somebody has to defend somebody who has done something that is clearly wrong and still has to convince people that this individual is a good person, and so they can advocate, very good advocates for others and for different causes, perhaps. And so great in human resources, an interest in the arts can be, there can be an artistic nature, but also promoting arts. This kind of person tends to be popular because they are positive and they tend to compliment other people. So they are, I'm looking for another word besides pleasant, maybe in polite. I think those are kind of boring words. Congenial. Okay, so they get along, they play well with others, play nice with others, nicely with others, and therefore they have a certain, social, they know the social graces, and therefore other people tend to want to be around them, versus people who are rougher on the edges, who might be critical or sarcastic. This is not the type of language that a Mercury in Libra person will employ, because they want to create harmony. They don't want to create any kind of controversy. If you think about Mercury in Gemini, Mercury in Sagittarius, I have Mercury in Sagittarius. There's like trollishness in certain Mercury signs like Sagittarius, Aries. They're trying to stir the pot. They're trying to be provocative. They're trying to get people riled up and it doesn't mean that they're trying to do it maliciously, but they like that kind of, maybe the drama of it or just the entertainment value. And a Mercury in Libra person is much more interested in harmonious conditions. So they're not going to do something that stirs the pot. But see, this is one of the things that I like to say to somebody with Libra is be careful about being too much in that direction too. Because I have seen this time and time again, that people that are too afraid of conflict tend to attract it. I just feel that that's the case because it's resisting things that are real. Sometimes there is conflict and it's okay. Nobody is going to dissolve into a puddle because they have differences of opinion on something. And sometimes it's important to express these things. If there is too much smoothing over ruffled feathers, almost compulsively, instinctually, or isn't instinctively, the person can be quite afraid of anything that isn't this placid surface kind of, social interactions. And then that becomes inauthentic. That becomes phony. There has to be a balance between being, having your own opinion and being allowed to share it with another person, but also being respectful. And when I have a conversation with someone, I want to really have a real conversation. I don't want to just yammer on and talk surface stuff that, that might be not controversial. I mean, what's the purpose of talking if it isn't going to stimulate something? And it could be like a little bit of a debate, but it doesn't mean that it has to be disrespectful. And I don't think sometimes that Mercury and Libra understands this. They can get so uptight about anything that, where things get a little bit heated. And it's important to balance that out with authenticity in communication. And the other thing too is Libra, likes to compliment people, and of course that does make them popular. But sometimes, and this wasn't in the information that I saw, I've just noticed this, that there can be a manipulative nature where this person is overly, they're overly flattering. And they do that because they want to get somebody in their good graces. And again, that's phony. That's not real. If they're doing it and they don't really feel that the compliments that they're giving are not real, they're just saying that to get the person to do their bidding, that can lead to somebody who's kind of even, I hate to say this is so harshly, but a con artist, because any sign can be a con artist. And for Libra, using flattery to get what they want could be the way that they decide to do that. And so I will say that this is a great sign for communication overall, because the person has the chops to communicate in an intelligent and yet polished way. And that is that's a real talent to possess. Okay, I hope that you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.